Electrochemistry means what? Electrochemistry means it is the branch of science or one branch of chemistry, and mainly it deals the conversion of chemical energy converted into electrical energy. Chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, and electrical energy converted into chemical energy. The conversion of chemical energy converted into electrical energy and electrical energy converted into chemical energy. It explains mainly from electrochemistry. So electrochemistry deals with the conversion of how that chemical energy is converted into electrical energy and how the electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. It explains. Okay. See, the conversion of chemical energy. Chemical energy converts into electrical energy. Electrical energy. Which device we are using for this conversion? Mainly galvanic cell. Galvanic cell. So, chemical energy converted to electrical energy. For that conversion, the device which is used for this device is galvanic cell. Okay. The second one is electrical energy. Converted into chemical energy. Electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. For this conversion, the used device is known as electrolytic cells. Electrolytic cells. Electrolytic cells. Okay. See here, main important in galvanic cells important and electrolytic cells also important now. Let's see. What is conductivity? What is conductivity or conductors? Conductors. Conductors means what, ma'am? Conductors means it is the substance. Conductors means the substance or medium. Conductors means the substance or medium which allows electricity or current to flow. The substance or medium which allows current to flow. Flow of it. Known as conductors. Conductors means through that substance. For example, this duster is not a conductor. Means through this duster current will not flows. That's why it is a insulator. What is insulator? Insulator means the substance or medium. Insulator means the substance or medium which does not allow current current to flow of it. Does not allows current to flow of it. The type of substances are called insulators. Insulators means duster or wood, rubber, wax, paper, like materials. This does not, and pure water. Pure water is also insulator. It does not allow current through it. Okay, the type of substances are called insulators. Conductors means the substances or medium which allows the current for the flow of it is known as a conductors. So types of conductors. Conductors are two types. Let's see. Types of conductors. Conductors are two types. What are these two types of conductors? One is electronic conductors. Electronic conductors also known as metallic conductors. Electronic conductors also known as a metallic conductors. The second one is electrolytic conductors. Electrolytic conductors. These electrolytic conductors are also known as ionic conductors. Okay, this is also known as a ionic conductor. So conductors are two types. One is electronic conductors, second one is the electrolytic conductors. Regarding these metallic conductors, we are discussed in solid state. Means in solid state chapter there only we are discussed conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Their conductors means what type of conductors mainly we are discussed. Metallic conductors only we are discussed. In metallic conductors, in some of the metals they act as semiconductors, silicon and germanium. Silicon and germanium they act as semiconductors. Okay, so the conductors are mainly two types. One is electronic conductors, second one is electrolytic conductors. Let's see in electronic conductors. In electronic conductors, mainly conductivity is due to flow of electrons. Flow of electrons. Conductivity is due to flow of electrons. Here conductivity is due to movement of ions. Conductivity is due to movement of ions. Movement of ions means what? Positive and negative ions. So in electrolytic conductors, conductivity is due to movement of ions through the medium. Movement of ions. But in electronic conductors, conductivity is due to flow of electrons. See the electrons. How the electrons are flowing? The electrons are flowing from one end to another end. One end to another end means cathode to anode, means negative terminal to positive terminal. Electrons moved from negative terminal to positive terminal. Negative terminal to positive terminal. Negative terminal means cathode to anode. Cathode to anode. See the electrons, the flow of electrons is known as electronic conductors or metallic conductors. In the metallic conductors, electrons are moved from negative terminal to positive terminal or cathode to anode. Cathode to anode. Okay. See here, the movement of ions. The movement of ions is known as electrolytic conductors. Electrolytic conductors. So in electrolytic conductors, the ions, how they are moved? Ions are moved. Ions are moves towards. Ions are moved towards opposite charged electrodes. Opposite charged electrodes. For example, positive ions. Positive ions are moved towards cathode, because cathode is negative electrode. Positive ions are moved towards cathode and the window. Positive ions are moved towards cathode and negative ions moves towards anode side, because the anode is a positive electrode. So what is the charge of anode? Positive. What is the charge of cathode? Negative. Means the ions are moved towards oppositely charged electrode sides. Here the electrons are moved from negative terminal to positive terminal. Negative terminal to positive terminal. But in electrolytic conductors, the ions, electrolytic conductors conductivity is due to movement of ions. Ions means positive and negative ions both are present. So in that, ions are moved towards oppositely charged electrodes. The positive charged ions are moved towards cathode side and negatively charged ions are moved towards anode side. Negatively charged ions moves towards anode side. Here, what happens now in metallic conductors? The substance cannot be decomposed. Substance retains same. But here, what happens now in electrolytic conductors? The substance decomposition takes place. Substance decomposition takes place. So chemical change is present. And chemical change is present. Here no chemical change. And the substance retains same, no chemical change. The quantity of substance retains same. How much quantity of substance is present? The same quantity will be present. But here, due to the undergoes chemical changing or undergoes chemical reactions, the substance will be decomposed and forms positive and negative ions, Then the quantity will be decreases. The quantity of substance will be decreases. So that's why that is the difference between the metallic conductors as well as the ionic conductors. See, for metallic conductors, temperature increases, resistance increases, conductivity decreases. Resistance increases and conductivity decreases. But here the temperature increases, then what happens now? Movement of ions increases. The movement of ions increases, or more number of ions, dissociation of ions will be increases, or more number of ions increases. Then conductivity then conductivity increases. That is very important. So here temperature is directly proportional to conductivity, and here temperature is inversely proportional to conductivity. Why temperature? See here in metallic conductors temperature is inversely proportional to conductivity because of resistance increases. But here temperature is increases, then the movement of ions increases, then the conductivity will be increases. So the conductivity is directly proportional to temperature in electrolytic conductors. Directly proportional to electrolytic conductors. Okay. Let's see examples for electronic conductors or metallic conductors. What are the important examples, ma'am? For all metals acts as electronic conductors, and electrolytic conductors or ionic conductors means strong acid, strong base, and salts. They act as electronic conductors. Electrolytic conductors. Let's see factors. Important factors affecting the metallic conductors or electrolytic conductors. Electronic conductors. What are the important factors affecting the electronic conductors or metallic conductors? So, electronic conductors or metallic conductors conductivity depends on the nature of metal. The first one is nature of metal. Depends on nature of metal and structure. Structure means already solids. Already what type of structures are present? Structure is present already in solid state. That chapter only we are discussed. Due to that crystalline structure, they are arranged in different manner. Either in cubic crystal structures or hexagonal or closed packing. Hexagonal closed packing structure or rhombic crystal structures are different types of crystal systems. There we discussed already. In cubic crystal system, already they are existing in face-centered cubic crystals and simple cubic crystals and body-centered cubic crystals, already that we discussed. So the metallic conductors or electronic conductors conductivity depends on the nature of metal and its structure. Nature of metal and its structure. The second one is number of valence electrons. The number of valence electrons. If the number of valence electrons increases, then the more electrons are promoted from valence band to conductance band. Then their conductivity is more. Okay? Number of valence electrons increases, then the conductivity will be increases. The next one is temperature. If the temperature is inversely proportional to conductivity, of electronic conductors or metallic conductors. Because the temperature is increases, then the resistance will be increases. Okay. Next, important factors. Factors affecting the electrolytic conductors. Electrolytic conductors. See, for electrolytic conductors, what are the important factors? For electrolytic conductors, their conductivity depends on, the first one is nature of electrolyte. Nature of electrolyte. Means electrolytes are different types. Strong electrolytes are present and weak electrolytes are present. That's why if the strong electrolytes 100% ionization will take place and forms more number of ions. Okay, weak electrolytes 100% ionization does not takes place. 100% ionization does not takes place. Then their conductivity will be less. That's why it depends on the nature of electrolyte. Then the second one is size of ions. Size of ions. If size of ions increases, then what happens? The movement of ions will be decreases. Then the conductivity will be decreases. Size of ions and hydration energy. Hydration energy. Hydration energy. If hydration energy is increases, then the movement of ions will be decreases. Movement of ions will be decreases, then the conductivity will be decreases. Hydration energy is also known as solvation effect or solvation effect. Solvation effect. Okay. And the next one is nature of solvent and viscosity. Viscosity of solvent. If solvent viscosity is increases, then density will be increases. The movement of ions will be decreases. The movement of ions decreases means the conductivity will be decreases. Conductivity will be decreases. And fourth one is temperature. The temperature is increases, then the number of ions will be increases, as well as the movement of ions will be increases. Movement of ions will be increases, then the conductivity of electrolytic conductors conductivity will be increases. So these are the important factors related to electrolytic conductors. Electrolytic conductors. See some important points related for NEET and JEE. Note. Cadmium sulfide and copper sulfide. Conductivity. Conductivity is due to their crystal defects. Due to their crystal defects. What type of crystal defect is present, especially for cadmium sulfide and zinc sulfide? Triangle defect. So due to the presence of triangle defect, they act as a good conductors. Cadmium sulfide and copper sulfide, they act as a good conductors. And another some important non-metals. Some of the non-metals like carbon black, graphite, organic polymers, organic polymers like polyacetylene, organic polymers like polyacetylene, polythiophene, they act as a conductors, polythiophene, and vapors of iodine. Vapors of iodine. See, these all are non-metals. Generally, non-metals are bad conductors or acts as insulators. But they act as a conductors. Vapors of iodine acts as conductors. acts as a conductors. Generally, metals and alloys at their lower temperatures they act as superconductors. Some metals and alloys at lower temperature. Lower temperature means how much temperature we need to use? Around 0 to 15 kelvins. 0 to 15 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin means absolute temperature. It is very low temperature. So at that very low temperature or very low temperature, some of the metals as well as alloys acts as superconductors. Superconductors. But ceramics ceramic materials and mixed metal oxides at high temperature. At high temperature means around 150 kelvins acts as superconductors. Acts as a superconductors. So it is very important on these points. So cadmium sulfide and copper sulfide conductivity due to their crystal defects. What type of crystal defect is present? Frankel defect is present. Some of the non-metals like carbon black, graphite, organic polymers like polyacetylene, polythiophene or polypyrrole, those acts as a conductors, as well as vapors of iodine. Vapors of iodine also acts as a conductors. Because of presence of unpaired electrons. In that state, they have some unpaired electrons are present. They develop charges. That's why they act as a conductors. And some of the metals and alloys. Actually, metals and alloys at below temperature or very low temperature. What happens? My resistance decreases. They act as a superconductors. Actually, first superconductivity is identified by Kamerlingh-Onn. In mercury metal has identified superconductivity at 4 kelvins temperature. Okay. So below temperatures or very low temperatures, what happens? My resistance of metals decreases. They act as a superconductors. But some materials like ceramic materials and mixed metal oxides also act as superconductors at a high temperature, around 150 kelvins. High temperature also they act as a superconductors. So these are the important points related to NEET and JEE and CET examination. Okay, students, let's see next. So we have discussed about conductors are two types. One is metallic conductor, the second one is ionic conductors. Ionic conductors also known as electrolytic conductors. Electrolytic conductors conductivity is mainly depends on the nature of electrolyte. So what is electrolyte? And what are the different types of electrolytes that we will discuss. So before discussing about what is electrolyte, what is non-electrolyte we will discuss. So in electrolytic cells, the substances they are divided into two types based on their ionic property in aqueous solutions. So nature of behavior in aqueous solutions, the substances are divided into two types. One is non-electrolytes the second one is electrolytes. Non-electrolytes means The substances cannot ionize. Substance cannot ionize. Cannot ionize in their solutions. In their solutions means brackets water mostly. In their solutions cannot ionize in their solutions called as a non-electrolytes. Example see. For example, glucose water or glucose solution. So in the glucose solution, glucose molecules cannot be ionized. That's why its degree of ionization. Degree of ionization I is equal to degree of ionization or dissociation alpha is equal to 0. Degree of ionization or dissociation constant. Dissociation constant alpha is equal to 0 and Van der Waals factor. For this type of solutions, Van der Waals factor I is equal to 1. Van der Waals factor I is equal to 1. They does not conduct electricity. So non-electrolytes, they does not conduct electricity. They are bad conductors. Pure water is also bad conductor. So the substances which cannot ionize in solutions, their solutions, those are called non-electrolytes. For example, glucose solution and urea solution. So urea also cannot ionize. Mostly covalent compounds, mostly covalent compounds. Urea cannot ionize in their solutions. So for that kind of substances are called non-electrolytes. So non-electrolytes degree of ionization constant or degree of dissociation constant alpha is equal to 0 and Van der Waals factor is equal to 1. For dissociated substances like NaCl in water, copper sulfate in water, KCl in water, they will be ionized completely. Their Van der Waals factor is more than 1. Their Van der Waals factor is more than 1. Already in solutions and qualitative properties, there we discussed this concept. So electrolytes means the substance can ionize in their solutions. Called as electrolytes. Again, these electrolytes are two types. What are those two types of electrolytes? Strong electrolytes the second one is weak electrolytes. The second one is weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes means 100% ionization will take place. 100% ionization will take place. Then alpha is equal to 1 and percentage of alpha is equal to 100. Means complete ionization will take place or complete dissociation will take place. Such type of substances are called strong electrolytes. Such type of substances are called strong electrolytes. Then the Van der Waals factor I value is more than 1. Van der Waals factor I value is more than 1. Examples for strong electrolytes: strong acids, strong bases, strong acids, and strong bases. Strong bases means what? Alkaline metals and alkaline earth metals, hydroxides acts as a strong bases like NaOH, KOH, and CaOH twice calcium hydroxide. They act as a strong bases. HCl, H2SO4, they act as a HNO3. They act as a strong acids. Strong acids and strong bases, 100% ionization will take place. Another one is strong acid plus strong base combined to form salts. That salts also acts as a strong electrolytes. NaCl in water. NaCl in water. It acts as a strong electrolyte. Then NaCl will be 100% ionization will take place to gives Na plus and a Cl minus. Na plus and a Cl minus. Next, so for strong electrolytes, their conductivity is more because of their degree of ionization is value alpha is equal to 1 and 100% ionization will take place. Strong electrolytes. And weak electrolytes means cannot ionize completely. Cannot ionize completely. So completely ionization does not take place. Completely ionization does not take place. Means partial ionization only present. So partial ionization only present means alpha not equal to 1. Alpha not equal to 1 means alpha value is less than 1 means percentage of alpha is also less than 100. Less than 100. Alpha not equal to 1 means less than 1. Means alpha value is less than 1 means 100% ionization does not takes place. 100% ionization does not takes place. Some molecules or some of the substances cannot ionize. Okay? So that kind of substances are called weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes conductivity is less when compared with strong electrolytes. When compared with strong electrolytes. Weak electrolytes examples: weak acids, weak bases,